Here we are for another episode of Hello Sleep. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy to have you here, and you're in the right place if you're feeling very, very, very tired today. So, my goal is to always share some actionable tips so that you can get back your nights and your naps and your sanity, and we do that by talking all things baby sleep. So, it's really lovely to have you here. In this episode, we're going to be talking about some very exciting things, and you're going to find out why on earth I have some flour and milk and egg and butter here with me. So, if you want to find out about that, stick around. I'm going to share with you a pretty cool analogy, and then I'm going to be uncovering with you the root cause of all sleep struggles. So, stick around. Hello, it's Brianna, your trusted baby sleep expert. I've had the honour and privilege of helping over 200 families now reclaim their nights, their naps, and their sanity. My passion for sleep was birthed out of when our eldest was a baby and we really struggled with her sleep. But when we sought help and got our sleep transformation, it pulled me out of a really dark place. Now, all I want to do is help other families escape sleep deprivation too. If you've watched any of my episodes, you've probably worked out by now that I am a bit of an analogy girl and or like stories or anything like that. I seem to have an analogy or story somewhere in my podcast. And so I've got my props here and I just want you to imagine with me, okay? Like you can probably guess, what do you need these ingredients for? Like butter, egg, milk, uh, flour. Like, what do we? It's pretty obvious. Cake. So, like, imagine you are baking a cake, right? You've got all of the ingredients. You can use cocoa and flavor it with other things, but what about if instead of mixing them all together, you just put them in separate glasses like this? You just put the milk there, the flour there, the butter there, the egg there. Instead of mixing them together in the right way, in the right order, you just you just did one ingredient. Like you bake the flour on its own, you scramble the eggs separately to everything else, or you just dump sugar in at the last minute and you then wonder why hasn't it turned into cake by now? And what I want to say is sleep very much so works the same way. So you can't just focus on one piece of the puzzle, like bedtime routines, or if you're just going to focus on only awake times, or let's only do the sleep environment thing and we're going to ignore the rest. All of the pieces work together. They work together and they've got to be like in the right order and everything like that to create a smooth, well balanced sleep routine and sleep habits. Whatever your current issues are that we identified in episode 1, if you haven't watched that, then go back and watch episode 1 where we identified your current issues. We went into detail about that. So, whatever you wrote down during that episode, whatever you wrote down, there's a root cause of those issues that I can tell you that's the root cause, no matter what you wrote down. And that root cause is poor sleep hygiene. So, what is poor sleep hygiene? It's just the habits and environmental factors that negatively impact sleep duration and sleep quality. The opposite of that then would be healthy sleep hygiene. And that's basically the habits and environmental factors, different factors that positively impact sleep patterns, sleep quality, sleep duration. Okay, so over the next few months, I'm going to be working with you. I'm going to be working through showing you my method for improving sleep. And I'm going to be giving you like bits and pieces in each episode, but it's actually a very holistic approach. So, the butter can't be left out of the mix. Each step of my system that I'm going to be sharing with you is important and not one piece can be left out. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today, is that thought and just that insight into what's actually causing your sleep struggles, is that root issue of poor sleep hygiene. So we need to look at the whole picture. We can't just look at bits and pieces. We can't just have the butter or the milk or the egg. We can't mix them up separately. To make the whole thing work, we need to have all the ingredients, all the pieces of the puzzle. So we uncovered that the root cause of all sleep struggles is poor sleep hygiene. But what can we do about that then? What can you do now from this, watching this episode? What does that mean for you? It's not, we can't approach it by compartmentalizing it. And we can't just fix this over here or fix that over there, but leave the rest. We need to move forward holistically. We need to have all the different pieces of the puzzle, right? So we're going to look at your baby's sleep, and you're going to identify one thing that might be out of balance. So, and even as you listen to episodes, there might just be one thing that you can change. And I want you to go and change that thing, because that brings you closer to your goal, even if it's one step closer. It might be a puzzle that you've missed before, a piece of the puzzle that you've missed before. So is bedtime inconsistent? Is the sleep environment too bright or too noisy? Are naps all over the place? Is there no clear wind down routine? Once you've identified what your missing ingredient is, I want you to make just that one small change that you can from listening to this episode. So if bedtime is just all over the place, set a goal to have your baby to sleep, eat asleep each night within like a 30-minute window each night. Or if the sleep environment isn't ideal, which we'll go into detail in an upcoming episode, but right now, you could just darken the room, okay? You can add in some white noise. These are tweaks that you can make that are going to bring you that one step closer to your goal. If there's no wind down time before bedtime, you can introduce like a 5 to 10 minute calming routine before naps and bedtime. So there are things that you can do and put in place. And I want you to remember that you don't have to fix everything at once. I'll be giving you different pieces of the puzzle as we go on this journey, but it's just like a cake. It's just about adding the right ingredients in step by step and making those little tweaks and adjustments along the way. So, yeah, solving sleep struggles can be like a slow improvement, or you can go fast as well. If you want to go fast, it's probably best to book in a call with me. But yeah, if you're happy going slow, just as you listen along, just implement something different, something new from what I've shared, because everything I share comes from out of my experience, out of my training that I've received, out of reading so many sleep books. I've got so many sleep books and I've read them all cover to cover, and I've done so many assessments and training, and I've worked with over 200 families, and I have like over 7 years experience. So all of what I share comes from that. And so I'm not just sharing it because it's fun. I'm sharing it because I want to set mums free from sleep deprivation. And if that's you, then I am so glad you're on this journey with me. And what are we doing next week? Oh, we are talking about, okay, next week's a good one. Next week is my biggest mistake as a sleep consultant, and I'm embarrassed to share it, but it will be good for everybody to know, because then you don't make the same mistakes that I make. So if no one is in your corner, then I want you to know that I've got you, and we're going to get through this together. And you've got this in everything that you do, whether that be parenting, whether that be your work, whether that be your child's sleep. I know that you've got this. Okay, so until next week, see you then.